Ready for more stats, more laughs, and even more questionable advice? Strap in. Welcome to Off the Bench, the only NRL Supercoach podcast where the puns fly faster than the footy. Rossco's got the strategies, Timmy's got the stats, and the beast, well, he's got a face for radio and opinions for days. From last-minute trades to epic captain fails, we're here to roast each other, and maybe help you out as well. Expect wild predictions, a bit of friendly banter, and the kind of footy chat that'll make you spit out your morning coffee. So grab your notepad, your best banter, and join the Supercoach shenanigans. The whistle's blown. Let's kickstart your day, the Off the Bench way.
Yes, good evening, everybody. Welcome to NRL Supercoach Off the Bench for week 18, which has just concluded and wrapped up. You're listening to the Wrap Show. As usual, I'm joined by Rossco. How you going there, Ross?
Hey, good evening. How are we? Evening, everyone. Great day today. The Swans had a good win, and also the Tigers knocked off the Roosters. So very happy. Supercoach-wise, not so great. 981. Just some very average scores. Hopefully, Teddy can get that line break assist and try assist that he's owed to boost the score up a bit. But other than that, Drinky and Garrick turning up, it was pretty average round, to be honest with you. But just quickly, I think, guys, we should just a quick shout out to Cameron Munster. Condolences, obviously, to the family of Cameron Munster, obviously with the passing of his dad this morning as well. So from the guys and everyone tuning in, we pass on the condolences to the families, obviously, as well. So it's obviously a tough period for Cam to go through, but I've got no doubt he'll come out on Wednesday night and he'll have a big game.
Well, we hope for not too big a game, but the sincere condolences to Cam, but not too big a game, mate. Go the Blues. As well, joining me tonight, we have no Timmy. I'm afraid the manicure has gone a bit over time tonight, and he rang me from the Chinese manicurist and said that he's going to be running late. But we are joined by NRL Supercoach Tragics. Dan, how are you going there, Dan?
Yeah, not too bad. It's been a while since I've been on, so I thought I'd better make an appearance.
No, it has been a little while. I guess no one's seen that. Man, you've had a beard trim. We don't know who the hell you are.
Yeah, I'm messed when you have a reputation like mine, you got to go in disguise every now and then. So that's I guess having a beard and shaving it off is probably the best way to get away with that stuff.
No, shaving's overrated. How'd you score this week? How'd you go?
971. Not great, but I guess I got saved by a few games today. Having kept Turbo in my team, I guess, was a bit beneficial to me, and I guess saved by that last-minute try by Teddy, it helped me out a little bit too. So as my captain, but yeah, 971. Not too upset about it. I guess saved face for this week and won't lose too many in the ranks.
No, I don't think it's going to be a great deal of spread of points. There might be 200 to 300 points between best and worst, or an outstanding score and a bit below average. I've got 1,060 at the moment. Captain Ruben, thank you very much, Rubes. But geez, I had some shit ones in there too. Thank King Square for doing absolutely nothing. At least you broke your BE. You had a BE of nothing and got like or something. Who was the other one? Oh, Gerald Skelton. I've got to get rid of him as fast as I can. Mistake. Big mistake getting him. How did you go, Rossco? How were your points there?
Yeah, 981 for me, Brad. As I said, it was a pretty subpar score, but didn't make any trades this week. So I think a lot of people are going to struggle next round to get some numbers. I know I'm running a bit light on numbers, but a couple of trades to make next round. So we've got to get rid of Metcalf and Couchman, but I'm still pretty happy with what I scored as well, to be honest with you, considering, really unless you had guys like Weeks or Meaney or, guys like that, I think everyone sort of struggled a bit this round anyway.
Absolutely. Well, the round kicked off this week with the Bulldogs taking on the Broncos. at the 60-minute mark of the game, it was looking like it was Bulldogs for all money. And then I think it was something like 17 minutes of absolute chaos. Somehow, the Broncos got up and won 22 points to 18. As what often happens, the first game of the round, it was a crap game for Supercoach scoring. Really, there wasn't a huge lot of great points here. For the Bulldogs, Kickow with a 69 was their best, followed by Montoya with 65, and then really it went a bit downhill from there. Lockie Galvin with a 52. I might ask Dan about him in a minute. But yeah, the points are pretty evenly sort of spread. Even Jacob Preston didn't really the highlights. He got 45. It's probably just owners that were expecting a bit more. From the Broncos, 95 was their best for Ezra Mann. He really was the architect of the comeback. I have to admit that. We did talk about him at length last week as a replacement for Metcalf. He was definitely the outstanding one. Willison Xavier always looked like he was going to have a good game this week. I actually jumped on him and got him in draft as a waiver wire pickup. So I was very bloody happy with that. Did me well there, 77 points, as I said. Billy Walters, the absolute super sub, 68 points. And just a bit like the Bulldogs, it just falls away from there. Piakura, 66 points, etc. All right, Dan, did you watch this game at all?
Yeah, watched the game. Probably one of the better ones to watch, actually.
Oh, your volume, Dan.
We can't hear.
There we go. Maybe put a microphone down in my head. It might help. Yeah. It's probably one of the better games to watch. I reckon with the comeback, it was pretty NRL wise, but Supercoach wise, not so much. But I only had the two players in this game. I had Billy Kicks and Tracy, so not the greatest score Supercoach wise, but I can't complain too much, I guess.
Yeah. Now my thoughts are on the game, and I'll put this one to you, Ross. You're probably a bit biased, but I actually don't think the Bulldogs are really benefiting greatly from Lockie Galvin being there. He actually looks a bit rusty to me. Vision, quite error ridden, and missed a few defensive reads. Yeah.
Yeah. Look, I understand why they did it this week with putting him into the team and putting Burton into the halves, because they wanted a defensive centre up against Katoni Staggs. So I understand that, but there's just what's happening in the club. They went on a run. Toby Sexton's probably playing his best footy he's ever played. He's now leaving. Reid Marnie signed a 3-year deal with the Cowboys as well. So yeah, it's very, very interesting. But look, I don't know how they're going to go next year if they've got Galvin starting in the halves with Burton. I'm not too sure how it's going to go, but certainly some feathers have flown since he's been there, and as you can see now, the Dogs have dropped back to third now. It's going to be interesting to see how they go moving forward. Do they keep Toby Sexton in the team now that they know he's leaving? I think they have to if they want to be serious about winning this comp, but we'll see what happens.
Yeah. How have you read it, Dan? Is that about how are you reading the Galvin introduction to the team? Are you liking it?
I reckon it'll work out eventually. But I reckon what they've done really is they've just accumulated this puzzle piece they weren't expecting, and now they're trying to cut the scissors and make it fit into what they've got at the moment. So I think at the moment they're just kind of throwing him in where they can to try to squeeze that puzzle piece in, but they'll get there eventually. I think we saw it's if you look at the Panthers where they were playing in the past at the start of the year, they always have to change their structures constantly to suit new halves and new half pairings. After a while, they start coming good, and I reckon that's what will happen with Galvin. He will come good. They will get their patterns right and their connections right, but it might take about. It won't be this year. I think it'll be towards he needs a solid off season with the Bulldogs. Come back next year. If he stays at around that price, he might be a great pickup as a 5'8" to start with next year.
Absolutely. Well, he says it because he is bleeding cash at the moment. So
Mm.
by the end of the year, he won't increase by a huge amount. G'day to Watto out there. G'day, Jared. He's captained Garrick, so he's very happy with his result. And g'day to Davey London. There you go, there, mate. I'm sorry about the result of South losing today. Actually, I'm not sorry.
No, you're not. No, you're not sorry. Don't lie.
That was just an excuse to bring it up.
Fucking hell.
We'll talk about that game. The only one I will quickly mention here is Kicks. Did you say you own Kicks there, Dan?
Yeah, I bought Kicks a couple of weeks back. Thought it'd be a good little pod to have with their run home. Like a few buys and just playing one matchups.
Oh, mate, his base has increased by 20 points in his base 12 months. Like that's a huge increase in base. I'm not really sure why, but I'm assuming that somehow Serraldo has changed the traffic and what he's getting aimed at kick out. And as I said, the number of runs he's had has increased. The base has increased. So, no, he's a good buy. No, it's a smart move.
Yeah, have a look at their have a look at their front row forwards at the Bulldogs at the moment. Have a look at them and see who they're a bit light on. They've got a few players that aren't playing. So instead of going through the middle, they're just pushing a little bit further to the left, or even going the other way to a further to the right, and they're using the second row as more of an attacking start. So I reckon you could have gone either way, gone Preston or gone kick out, and you wouldn't be failing at all. It's a good option for both.
Yeah, that was my conundrum I had a couple of weeks ago, Dan, which one to go, and I went with Preston. And the only reason I actually went Preston was because of his ownership. He's actually a pod compared to Kickout. I think Kickout's double ownership, but I do like what I'm seeing from Kickout this year. Like you said, he's getting a lot more ball this year as well. They're going to that side a lot. But as you said, I don't think you can go wrong with either of them.
G'day there to Mark Munro. He's joined us there. He says he's frustrated with the result, but he's being very patient, being very excited about the next few years at Belmore. He's referring to, of course, the Galvin introduction. Galvin and Woods are the future of the club. Yeah, it's nice to get a good opinion. I like it. All right. So, Ross, you want to take us through the next game of the round?
Next game, I think everyone thought was actually going to be an absolute bloodbath, which didn't end up being the case. Canberra 28, Dragons 24. KO Weeks with a hat-trick was just absolutely unstoppable in this game. 156. Timoko 82. Fogarty 74. Hoskins with a 67. Morgan Smithies with his first try in the NRL with a 67. The other side, Sloan, 93. Should have had another try, which we'll talk about in a minute. Jaden Sewer, 85. Sully, 66. Molo with a 65 and Gutho with a 61 there, boys. If that was a forward pass, I will dead set go and jump off a bridge right now, because that was probably one of the worst calls I've ever seen all in this year alone. Like, how the hell do they even considerably think that was even close to being a forward pass?
I watched that several times again to see, and not to see to change my mind, but to see who made that stupid call. It was a touch judge. You can see a touch judge made that call. I watched it on replay, and he stopped straight away. I watched it. I'm like, oh, good try. The first thing I saw was good try. Well done. And then I'm like, why are they going back? What the hell? So that's just they need until they get camera angles sorted to rule on forward passes. We're going to be talking like this crap every single couple of weeks because it's stupid. They need to get this sorted.
It didn't even leave his hand forward either. So I don't know how the hell he managed to call that forward.
Well, it would have made it a golden point game, folks. If you haven't caught up with that news, St George came back and almost stole the game, and certainly would have been a golden point game if that try was allowed. For my money, yeah, it was just a massive blue by the touch judge there, and the referee had no choice but to call it forward because that's what the touch judge. He just backed the touch judge.
That's it.
And a shout out to Ricky Stewart with his roulette with his minutes again this week. Tarpany only playing 29 minutes.
To be fair, Tarpany did have a bit of an ankle issue as well. I think he was just resting him a little bit, and because they came back and made the game a bit closer, that's the reason why they brought him back on. They wouldn't have brought him back on at all, I don't think, if they were still dominating that lead. Yeah, I think, and I wouldn't be surprised if you see her getting shortened again next week and the week after, just to manage that ankle injury, because those things can be a pain in the butt to manage.
No, absolutely. But his minutes were a bit all over the shop, a bit over 50 minutes for Horsburgh. I know a lot of people had some expectation on Horsburgh this week. I will give a positive shout out, however, to Ricky. He did call out online trolls and I have seen some of it, for some of the nasty trolling that has gone on towards Kyle Flanagan. I quite approve of that. I think we should call out the trolls. Look, if ever you make NRL standard, even if you're what we call an average player, you're still way fucking much better than what you are sitting on the keyboard. So these people are elite, and it's not easy. So,
but hang on, he can go call players weak, go to dogs though.
Yeah, but that was in retaliation to
I know.
Someone was receiving from the hands of Jamin Salmon, apparently. So yeah, that's completely different. No, I quite approve of it, but that's just me.
Yeah.
I don't like.
No, I saw it too, and I'm hats off to him for coming out and saying something. As he said, he's got a kid, playing in NRL too, and questioned the media about how would they feel if it was their son getting booed and whatever else. And yeah, no, good on you, Ricky. Anyway.
All right. Anything else we're going to talk about with that game?
Only if you got on weeks, mate. Well done. I think they got a great run on the way home. So, but yeah, he can get you 20 next week as well. So, good luck with that roller coaster.
Well, I think I had 3 scores. I owned him up until 3 weeks ago, and he had 3 scores under the under 40 in a row. I can't handle this no more.
Fuck.
In his
oh no.
Well, that's my season for you though.
Oh,
all right, the next game was Cowboys versus Storm. Look, it seems like it was a close game, but I've got to tell you, it really wasn't that close. I felt like the Melbourne Storm were in control all the way. The baby Stormers, 165 there to Nick Meaney. He's up to he had a bit of an upgrade there.
Yeah.
So Nick Meaney, 165 is certainly his highest score. Sean Bloor, 97. Bit of a cut price second rows there, but he goes pretty solid. 72 for Bronson Garlick. I'm not sure how many would actually own him. 68 for Eli Katoa. I'll take that as an owner. And Anderson also chimed in with 59. For the Cowboys, Scott Drinkwater was out there really doing it all on his own. Without Dearden there, the entire attack was going through Scott Drinkwater. I think his scores will go back towards a much lower level when Dearden's back in full. So do watch that one if you're looking to bring somebody in instead of Drinkwater. I've got a feeling his scores could drop back a little bit, but he went very well, 99 points there. They nearly got the game. Sean Bateman, 89 points. Ross, he's starting to play well, is he?
I'm not commenting. It's probably his highest score that he's had in the last 10 years in Supercoach, I'm pretty sure. I mean, just look at the next name on the list, Jay Clifford with a 79. I mean, that'll do me. Seriously. Oh, jeez.
Oh, dear. Derby, whatever you want to call him, 74 points. And I think Jackson Purdue is somewhere up there near the top somewhere.
He lost points. Oh, he lost points. He was on 70 odd, so he must have lost something.
Yeah, so Jackson Purdue down to 57 points. You own many of these players there, Dan?
I only have 2 players in the Melbourne Storm team, so I've been trying to dodge that Drinkwater train against my head-to-heads for a long time now, and I'm looking forward to seeing Dearden come back, so I don't need to worry about it again. But I know I had Eli Katoa, and I played the risky thing about 4 weeks ago. I wanted enough out, so I decided to trade in Bradley, but hoping that he'd get a spot in the last game, and I was right. He's got me 38 points, so I'm not really too upset about that. But Yeah, now he's my nuff. I can get rid of him. It's all good.
So, Pappy, did that hurt all of us being out? It hurt me.
Yeah, definitely.
I don't think it hurt everyone, but I still had 15 players even after he was out. So, this is the game he probably would have scored well too. I mean, look what Meany scored. So I reckon Pappy would have been on par with that, which is a bit annoying because I think. But in saying that, I pretty much think all the serious super coaches own him anyway. Let's be honest. So, the one I want to speak about is who we just spoke about, Brad, Sean Bloor. His scores haven't been that great this season, but could he be a replacement option for me if I'm looking to sell Couchman? And he's gone. What do you think about Sean Bloor? What do you think about Sean Bloor?
He's really safe. Like, he really is. He's not scoring the biggest scores, but he's not scoring small scores. And I think we all know that Munster tends to come home with a wet sail after Origin as well. And on that same side, I reckon that could be able to try Sis going that way. And I think watching this game as well, I didn't watch the whole game, but I did watch Sean Bloor and a couple of lines. It was running really nicely. He was looking pretty good. So I think that it might be coming good for the end of the season. Having Munster pumped up for the end of the season as well on that same side could be a good move. And what is he, 468? Maybe a bit more now?
Yeah. Well, it'd be a bit more now. Yeah, he had
33 break even.
So he'll go up to probably about 500 or somewhere around that mark, which will pretty much be a straight swap from Couchman to him. What's your thoughts on Sean Bloor, Brad?
Oh, look, he's at the lower end of the price scale. You can play him on matchups. But like we discussed this one last week, we don't really know 1 week to the next where they're going to share their points at Melbourne. They do share their points around. So 1 week, Jerome Hughes will get 110 and Munster will get 20. And then the next week, Munster will get 110 and Hughes will get 20 points. And it's a bit like that with their edge back row. It's a bit at times. Eli Katoa does have your higher base, so you'd much rather Eli Katoa. But look,
I've already got Ellie, obviously, so it's just something around that price point as a replacement for Couchman. So, yeah.
All right. So, Ross, you better take us through the next game, I think.
Yes. It was an upset, a great upset at that. Tigers 30, Roosters 28. For the Roosters, Marky Mark with 107. White 77, Teddy 77, Rodwell on debut with a 63, and Daniel Tupu with a 52. On the other side, May just doing May things with a 94. Fainu, I don't know which one that is. I think that's Samuela with a 75, Hope with a 73, Shitstains with a 66, and Dewey with a 56. But a shout out to the Fainu brothers, who was the first set of three of brothers to score a try in one game. They all scored a try, so congratulations to Shione, Samuela, and Latu as well. But as I said, I didn't catch this game, I only saw the highlights. But I know the Tigers led 20-0, but did well to hang in there. I mean, we were down troops, but as were they. But very surprised to see that result. And obviously, Teddy owners and captains like myself are obviously sweating on updates as well. Everyone seems to be pretty certain that he's owed a try assist and a line break assist, so he may end up around about the same score as Drinky after updates, hopefully.
Yeah, no. Joey Alchin's just commented into the chat. G'day, Joey. I hope all going over well. Ruck Infringement podcast. Joey, this is your team, mate, the Roosters. What the hell happened? That's what we want to know. Every week you're giving it the poor old.
Yes.
Right, the bloke's only 3.5. You're fucking giving it to him every week about now your team loses. What's the go?
And to the Tigers too.
And to the Tigers. By the way, Timmy told me to say all of that, so that's not coming from me. Stick it Now, do you have many of these Roosters? I mean, they've got a pretty nice, not a bad run coming home there, Dan.
Oh, yeah. I was going to trade in Marky Mark this week after Billy Smith got ruled out, but I decided that kind of ruins my plans moving forward for head-to-head finals and stuff, so I backed out of it. And I'm still probably glad that I did. I don't know I didn't get the highest score, but glad that I did back out of it just because I want to look to the future. I'm pretty safely in the top 8 in my head-to-head, so... but yeah, I've got Teddy and Sandon Smith still, so Sandon Smith will got to go very soon. I think looking likely that we'll see Walker in the team soon. So if he was dropping out of the team altogether, it wouldn't be urgent, but it looks like he'll be on the bench, which means he'll be in a nightmare, which is a bit of a pain. So, but one player I want to kind of talk about a little bit as well is we're talking about that last 5'8" spot and how it's hard to really fill that spot in with all these players out and just not really the best spot to go. I've had Dewey in my 5'8" for a long time now. He obviously at 56 points isn't that great, but he's looking very likely almost every time he has the ball when he's playing 5'8". So I'm happy just to keep him there. I'm not sure about you guys.
Yeah,
yeah.
You go, Brad. You're all right. No, you're all right.
I was going to say I was an owner, and I suffered through all those bad scores at the beginning of the year. I actually started with him. He is looking a lot better now. I don't know if it's just taking him a while to get some match fitness up. He was out of the game for a very long time, fitness-wise and physical-wise. Awful start to the year. He's increasingly got a bit better, but he's better off more in the centre. I mean, of the field, but more in the middle of the field. Where sometimes the centre, he gets pushed out a bit and a bit out of the action, doesn't really get through a lot. So, yeah, while he keeps playing 5'8", I would definitely say he would be an option. The only problem is he doesn't play one of the major head-to-head final weeks.
Yeah, around 23. I'm fine with that because at that point, that's when you try to have players you're happy to offload and get that pot in as well. So, and I just think the draw in the next 2 weeks is pretty handy to go. Not really. I guess Warriors might be a little bit easier to beat at the moment with their players out. Unfortunately for those guys, they've got the Titans as well. But then it's a bit. You probably want to sell him anyway. I'd say around 21 onwards. You've got Panthers, Bulldogs moving into those last few games, so you probably want to avoid him around then anyway. So, but I just thought saving a trade. He's been fine. I don't play him. I play him when I have to, really, and he's been last 2 weeks. 68, 76, and then he gets a 50-odd this week, so can't complain.
Oh, no. Absolutely.
Yeah, I started the season with him as well, like you did, Brad. I think I had him in my centre position, though. I don't see him playing 5'8" again after this, though. However, with Luai coming back from Origin next game and Ladu Fainu doing what he's doing, I think that Dewey will probably end up back in the centre, but if he was to stay at 5'8", Dan, he would be a serious option as a possible trade-in. I mean, they haven't got a bad draw coming up for those who do need a 5'8" like myself, and he's still cheap. He's only like $450K or whatever he might be. So he's a good price, but definitely be interested if he was staying at 5'8". But with Fainu and Luai there, I just don't see it happening, unfortunately.
Yeah, Fanny kind of really stood into his own the last couple of weeks as well, so it's been good to watch.
Yeah. Just a question on Marky Mark. Do we actually think he's an option for the run home? I don't own him, and I probably won't bring him in now. But I just think guys like Val Holmes and probably Zach Lomax are probably ahead of him as a trade in. If I owned him, I'd be happy to own him, but I just don't think. I'm interested in what your guys' thoughts are. Do you think that he is someone you should be bringing in for the run home or not?
I'm not a big fan of his draw. Just leading up to that. So that's the only thing is when you got backs, you need to have solid base for those backs. And I love what I'm watching with him play. He's always in and around the attack, which is great. But they've got next week. They've got the Dragons, which is great, not the worst matchup. Then they've got Sharks, and then they've got Storm, then they've got Manly at 4 points. They got Dolphins who have been playing pretty good as well. And then again, after that, they got Bulldogs again in round 24. So it's a very tough matchup for the Roosters. And after watching them today, I'm not sure they're going to be up to standard for that time of the year.
Yeah, well, I'll be looking to move Sandon on as fast as I possibly can. He's one that's on my chopping block. Jared,
yeah, what I did call it, he did.
I think he was on the podcast and he said Marky Mark was one to be watching. Timmy was to be on with us tonight. He got 1,078 with Captain Teddy. Good work there, Timmy. Not a bad score, I think. You think you've done pretty well there, mate. All right, the last game. Can we crack open this last one?
Yeah, go for it, Brad. The floor's yours.
Yeah, well, I suppose this is my Manly, so we better go on to it. But to tell you the truth, it wasn't the greatest game in the world, that's to be honest. South Sydney from the get-go really did struggle in some vital key areas. But you can tell they're horribly missing a fair bit of cohesion and organisation out there. Really needed somebody in that 5'8" area. I think there was Whiten's okay, but, Alex Johnson, 113 from the fullback position, did more runs than what Latrell normally does from fullback. Go figure.
Yeah. He was actually pretty good, I thought. Honestly, I really did. We'll talk about him after anyway, but yeah, he was involved a lot, so he was good.
Oh, absolutely. 105 to Tallis Duncan with 2 tries, playing in the centres. A few of us have been looking at Tallis Duncan lately.
Yep.
But I think the horse might have bolted there, but if you did get on, good luck to you. You've done pretty well. Colin Matangi, he grabbed himself a respectable 66 points. And then it drops away into the 40s for the entire rest of the team. But there's a couple there. That includes, unfortunately, Hubner and I think he's about the next most owned player there. For Manly, Ruben Garrick, quite a few people captaining him. Timmy did. I did. Davey earlier, he said he did. So did either of you two have Garrick as a captain? No.
Did not, unfortunately, but I had him on my team, so that's definitely second best.
Yep.
No, I had Drinky as my VC, and I had the C on and the C on Teddy, but yeah, it didn't loot. But as I said, hopefully updates will be kind with that one anyway.
Tommy Turbo, well, we heard from Dan before, he still owns him, 118 points. I did say last week that if you could fit him in, he was an excellent buy. You're never going to get Turbo at under 500K ever again. Even when he's not doing much, he's actually just accumulating points with minor little tackle busts and passes for last try scorers and things like that. So he's just a machine at Supercoach, racking up points.
We all talk about the sweeping fullback that gets the last try assist pass and everything. If you notice, he got a try assist today as the sweeping centre. He went around and was the last pass on the other side of the field. I noticed that last week when he started sweeping around, playing both sides, and I was like, you know what? Like it's like hard to keep him because there's 3 spots for fullback. Really, it's hard to keep him. But watching him play in centres, he's sweeping around. It's hard to sell him at this point as well. He got 70-odd points last week and 118 this week. I've got some ideas I want to do to trade him on, but it's hard to get rid of him.
No way at this price he's still only going to be 500K. Although he has a buy next week, no way would I be selling.
The problem there is the players that you're missing out on. I've missed out on Drinkwater's points the last 3 weeks because I've got Puppy, Teddy, and I've got Turbo. So either try and catch up some points elsewhere. I don't think Drinkwater is the way to go, but I want to find another pod that I want to bring in that has a good run. So, and I don't think Turbo is that guy. So he's still kind of on the chopping block for me, but that's because I want to do that fullback roulette towards the end of the season. I think he might be the one on the chopping block, unfortunately.
Dylan Edwards.
Shut up.
Fullback.
Shut the hell up. I told you that last week in confidence.
Shit.
But now that you brought it up, literally, the next 5 games, I don't have it right in front of me now, but it's like Knights, Tigers, Titans. Then they had the Dragons in there, and then they got another team in the bottom 4. It is the best. Oh, yeah, Parramatta. Like, that's next week. That is the dream next 5 games. And then my plan was to sell him for Latrell Mitchell for the finals. Right? That, to me, is like the best run home. But now that I've said it, might need to cut this episode short so no one can hear what I just said. So,
Terry Evans got 70 odd points, 76 points. He's now going to be making a bit more cash again. I only have to keep him for 2 more rounds, and then I'll be moving him on myself. Do either of you two own Cherry?
No.
I went up against him in a head-to-head, actually. So this week, I was getting nervous towards the end. So,
you were going to jump on Cherry Evans earlier in the season, weren't you, Dan?
To start the season, yes.
Start.
I did not. I went the stupid move and decided to go Hines and Cleary to start the season.
Oh, look.
So,
quietly.
Yeah.
I
was saying that I was top 1,000 for the first half of the season, so I can't really say it was a bad move. So,
Lehigh also got into the 60s. Did do an awful lot of work for just not the accumulator of Supercoach points that Tommy is, I'm afraid. Even though he was doing a fair bit of work out there. I don't think there's anybody else there really or overly relevant. I think Matt Lodge, if anybody absolutely would be crazy enough to own him, which surely there isn't on the face of this earth, but he will be missing a game next week due to suspension, I fear, for that crusher tackle on Cheese. If we saw that, yeah.
The poor bugger's just come back for his first game in 308 days, and now he's done his MCL and he's out for 6 to 8 weeks. So that's season for Brandon Smith, unfortunately, the poor bugger.
Yeah. No, that's
not having a good run.
No, it is. It's not a very good thing there. All right, so that's all the games there. Any more comments on the Manly players or the poor old South Sydney?
Yeah, I'm still an owner of Hopewadi, but I think he's going to be a move on. I think especially with that draw that they've got coming up, but he got 61 with a break even of 147. So he's about to lose another 70K, unfortunately, this week. So, it's not ideal. Might just have to start playing him on matchups and just hang on to him, I think, given he's just lost 70K. But, interesting. But AJ, Brad, was the one we spoke about, not as a buy, but just in general. He seemed to have been a lot today. Like, I couldn't believe when I saw his score. I'm like, what has he done? But he set up, I think he set up both Tallis Duncan tries. He had a lot of line break assists. He had some tackle busts. He just seemed to be really involved. And I've seen him play fullback before for South, and I've never really rated him as a fullback. But, to score 113 points and the stats that he's got in a team that got absolutely pummeled today, I think, credit to him. He had a pretty good game, I thought, in a losing team.
Absolutely. It might even be worth a pickup on the other side of Origin if Latrell doesn't come through it with any confidence. So who are you thinking about trading this week, Ross, seeing as how you segue into that?
I've got to sell Metcalf and I've got to sell Toby Couchman, but at this current point in time, I have absolutely no idea who I'm going to trade them to. I may end up just selling Metcalf to whoever is chosen as 5'8" for the Warriors, whether it'll be Tanner Boyd or T. Murray Martin. Hopefully it's Martin because I think he's pretty sure he's cheaper. And then Couchman I've got up in my front row, but I don't know what to do with him because I'm going to be honest with you, front row is a bit of a mud buff. I mean, I've got May and I've got Haas. There's not really anyone else there that I like, to be honest with you, in the front row, really. I mean, AFB's fallen off the bloody cliff and there's just not really much else there, to be honest with you. I mean, I could maybe move him into my second row and move Colin Matangi up and then get another second rower, but I really don't know who to get. I'm pretty well stacked with, Colin Matangi, Preston, Katoa, Hudson Young, Dylan Lucas, and Zach Hosking. So I really don't know what I'm going to do with that yet. I'm not sure.
right, there's a question there for you, Ross, but I'm not really understanding it. Can somebody you want to?
These blokes.
Ross, would you trade a fit Darcy Carney next week or an injured Hobson?
These blokes these blokes play together against each other in the comp up. I think it's up towards Coffs Harbour way somewhere, but I'll take them both, mate. Bring them both in, mate. I'll take them both. One can replace Metcalf and one can replace Couchman. There you go.
All right, Jack Browning has written in. I'll put this one to you, Dan. Do I sell AFB or Tapine to Haas?
After watching the last few weeks, I think I'd probably want to keep AFB at the moment. Tarpany's bit on and off with his minutes there, and he hasn't been, I guess, ideal in my opinion. So I'm in the same boat. I'm in literally the same boat. So I was looking at potential. Luckily for me, I have Clark as well in the front row, so I can always trade out CO Wong and bring Clark's second row. But I don't know. I think I'd probably want to keep AFB over Tarpany at the moment. Although Raiders do have the momentum going in their team, but I just don't trust Ricky Roulette. You boys?
I'd probably say Tarpany is the sell just because they've still got 2 buys to go.
True.
AFB's minutes are obviously AFB's more consistent with his minutes as well. He may not be scoring well at the moment, but you know what the Sharks are capable of, and if they can go on a run, I mean, he'll be there or thereabouts. So I think it's Tarpany for me. Just those 2 buys still to come is pretty vital, and the minutes.
Yeah, I tell you what, Jack, it is a hard one. When the article comes out this week, actually, I do have a little section at the end of the article about head-to-head finals that are coming up and planning. Have a look at Cronulla's draw during the finals of your head-to-head competition. They play Tigers, Newcastle, Titans, and St George, I think. There is a bye floating around in there, but on either side, it's just... And we know Nico Hines and his crew love being bullies against teams that they think they have an edge on. So, I'd nearly be tempted to hold each very juicy draw coming up in those last few weeks of head-to-head finals. So, if you're playing for cash, I'd be very tempted to hold him. All right, Dan, what are you thinking about? Any trades for you this week? You got anyone you got an eye on?
Yeah, I've kind of sold on one depending on how they look after Origin, but I'm going to go probably Turbo to Edwards for the run home. And then my next trade, this is where I'm kind of tossing up at the moment, and I think I'm leaning towards going Sandon Smith out for Brayley. Just based on that, you mentioned that draw in the finals time. I like it a lot. I know they have a bye the week before and then the semi-final, but having Harry Grant as a backup is not the worst thing in the world. I just think, so Sandon Smith straight to Brayley and Dylan. I've got enough cash in the bank there, about $300K in the bank, so I can go Turbo to Dylan Edwards.
No, that sounds like I like the Edwards shout, I'll tell you what.
Mate, that's a good draw. Very good draw.
Yeah. No, as I said, I do have a look at it in the article. It's but Cronulla came out, although they had that one bye in a very ugly spot. The rest of the draw was so juicy, I almost couldn't ignore them as an option at that time of year for your head-to-head finals. Marky Mark is such a freak. This is from Joey Olsen. A bit like Timmy playing Supercoach, just a freak. He's giving it to you there, Tim. Tim is beating me at the moment in Supercoach. So
Tim traded him in this week, so he'll probably break him, no doubt, at some stage.
Now, for me, yes, I'll be looking at the hooker position this week, much like yourself, Dan. I'm not sure who to go. Might well be Harry Grant. I'll just see how see what happens there. I also have a problem at 5/8, but I'll again, I've got my eyes on Campbell. Anybody like Campbell as an option for the run home? I know it's the Titans, but no.
I don't mind it, but we spoke about 5/8 last week. I'm not particularly fond of the position, to be honest with you. So Yeah, he's a good option, but fucking shit. I mean, is he injured again? Well, he got injured again, right? Is that why he's out?
Who's
Or
that?
was it? No,
Yeah,
Jaden Campbell.
Yeah, Jaden Campbell's injured again.
Yeah. So.
Yeah, he's got an ingrown toenail like Timmy. All right, another question here from Jack Browning. I'll let you start on this one if you like, Ross. Val or Run for the run home? Wow.
I like them both. I'd have to probably. Dan's probably got a bit more of an idea with the draws, but I do like both of them. I'd probably have to base it off the draw, but yeah. So I don't know. It's a hard one, honestly. Dan, who's got the better draw for the run home?
Just looking at the Dragons now, so they got Roosters, Bulldogs, then they got Cowboys, Canberra, Sharks. It gets a pretty tough looking draw there.
Yeah.
And who else are they looking at? Lomax, so Parramatta. Yeah, I don't think it matters who Parramatta are playing against because frankly they got Penrith next week, which is always a bad start. They got Canberra, and I'd be definitely going the other way. I'd be going if you had to pick one, be going Val, just because Parramatta got Panthers, Canberra, Broncos, Melbourne, then they got North Queensland. It's a bit of a rough draw, but
Dragons draw is not that much better either, really, is it? Let's be honest.
It isn't better, but what I will say is it is a bit. There is room to breathe in between those tough matchups. There's very little room to breathe here for Parramatta. So,
look, both of those are pretty expensive. My only thought to this is, Jack, if you don't have Herbie, forget the other two and just get Herbie instead. I don't know if that helps you, but yeah, forget them two and go the Herb stuff. Well, I think that's just about it, boys. I don't think there's any more questions coming through at the moment. You got anything else there tonight to finish up, Rossco?
Nope, just a shout out to our sponsors, Wedgetail Golf. As you can see, Brad's showing off the attire there. Go and check it out, wedgetailgolf.com.au. Shout out to them for the sponsorship with them. And if you're looking for any merchandise, hats or T-shirts, go and check them out. Other than that, that's it for me. And we'll be back on Tuesday for TLT, which could be a very interesting TLT round 19 too, might I add.
Now, over to you, Dan. I'll put one thing to you. Now, Dan, as I said, is part of the Tragics group on Facebook. If you don't know who they are, you should, and your Supercoach, go check them out. There's lots of great different features over there, chat groups, etc. Now, Dan, there is the $5 knockouts about to close, I believe.
Yeah, so it's about to close. I'm going to have a look at how many runners we have left after this round. So I'll have a look at if we need to have at least 64 runners to get to make it fair for everyone. So what we're going to do is whatever is left. If there's 62, for example, we're going to run a random draw. Do a post on our Facebook page, do a random draw, and then we're going to give away 2 of those spots, for example. But you'll look out for our Facebook page. We'll know more about it soon. If we sell those $5 spots before, let's say TLT, then we won't do a draw because we have enough players. So, but yeah, we're looking to start it in round 20. For those that don't know what it is, it's very simple. You have to have an overall group spare in your leagues. I put a randomized head-to-head together, and I just battled it out. You have to win every single week against a random head-to-head. So, other than that, it's just I think it's around $240 you can win from just $5. So, winner takes all.
Nice.
Yes, I have to get in touch with Brod. If you don't know who Brod is, he handles a lot of these cash competitions. Has done for years. Extremely trusted. And well known amongst the community. So it is very good to get involved if you want to be involved with something like that. And yes, Brod, will be sending you a message later, probably tomorrow, about it. All right. I think that's all tonight. Thank you very much, everybody, for tuning in. We've had well over 50 viewers at a couple of stages there tonight, which is always very promising. Love it. Thank you for all the questions. Thank you, Sean, who's just popped in and said g'day. Jack, Timmy, Joey, Dave, there's quite a few more. Chris, Thank you very much, all guys. Stay safe. Go the Blues this Monday, and we'll see you on Tuesday.
Wednesday.
No, but we'll see everybody on Tuesday for Teamless Tuesday.
No, but you said go the Blues on Monday. It's all right. It's all right.
Go the Blues on Wednesday. We'll see you on Tuesday. Till then, rage trade your ass off.